I knew nothing about running a business. Do you know anything about coffee roasting? No. Now I have a ton of coffee, and now I need people to buy it. When the coffee comes to us, it's green like this. It doesn't smell very much. It's like when you're baking a cake, it doesn't taste so much until you put it in the oven and bake it. When we roast it, we're starting this Maillard reaction that makes it taste really good. And so my job as a roaster is to kind of get out the best taste that this quality of coffee can give us. How it started, I was going on a climbing trip with my friend. So we went to Hemsedal the night before we were gonna climb this mountain the next day. And I remember his girlfriend, Anya, she had given us like a box of food, like dinner, and there was this bag from a coffee roastery up in Lofoten. And I remember picking up this bag and I thought, oh, this is such a good coffee. I think I just said something like, if they can do it in Lofoten, then surely I can do this in Sogndal. So, but it was just like talk in the beginning. But then one day when I was studying, or supposed to study, I was scrolling Facebook and I saw this little ad. Like you can get a free pass to the Mountain Sport Festival if you attend this pitching contest. I went there, and even though one of the judges, he just asked me like, do you know anything about coffee roasting? And I just said no, but I will learn. And I think that convinced them to give me like some prize money, and I got an office for a few months and helped to get started. I realized I have to learn how to roast coffee. It's not so easy to see, but these ones in my right hand here are quite a lot bigger on average than these Ethiopian beans. Like they're both the same quality. And like the biggest size doesn't have to be better quality than the smaller size, but it's definitely very different botanical varieties of coffee. I was a student at the time. I knew nothing about running a business, marketing, sales, or coffee. So I just started from scratch and went from there. Yeah, so this is a 12-kilo coffee roaster. So here is where I load the green coffee, put in, like I weigh the beans, and then I put them in here, ready to charge them into the drum when it reaches the right temperature. And inside here is a big cast iron drum that rotates. It gets heated from gas panels that are placed underneath the drum. So once it's roasted, after between 9 to 14 minutes, open up this, and all the coffee will come out here to the cooling tray. At the same time, I will make it so that instead of going through the drum, the air will be sucked through the coffee and then cool down quite efficiently. And then once it's cooled, it goes out from here and down into boxes. And then from boxes to bag. This and then from the bags out to the customer, so they will pick it up. It's like a budbil, like a. So they'll just come here and pick it up. Deliver it tomorrow morning, I think.
How was the first year or two?
It was a lot of ups and downs. I learned a lot. Everything from creating a company to start finding someone who can teach me to roast, learn how to taste coffee, and selling, you know. I thought about roasting the coffee and making the beans, but I didn't think so much about the sales, and I hated selling. Because I remember some days, like after I had started, I had everything in place, and now I have a ton of coffee. Now I need people to buy it. Yeah, so here we have some of our green coffee. So most of the coffee I roast is like organic certified coffees, and we have coffee from all around the world. In the beginning, I didn't sell so much coffee. So maybe in a week, you know, I would go and I would pack, 8 kilos. And then I would spend another week not being able to sell anything. And I was calling like fancy hotels that I was sure like they're so into having this nice food and buffets and like top level restaurants. So surely they would like some specialty coffee. But it's like, no. I had a lot of time to, you know, try to come up with good ideas, try to think of design, you know, look for new people to call or visit and ask if they want to try my coffee. But you know, then suddenly I get a call from Gin Bryggeri in Florø, and Ann Margrit, she said like, oh yeah, we read about your coffee, so we want to buy, like how much do we buy? Like 10 kilos. And I was like, yes, sure. And I was so happy, like, yeah, it's possible to do it. You know, 6 months ago, there was a situation that arose, because I was roasting and I think I was sitting and replying to some emails, you know, checking the temperature on the computer. Okay, it's not time to do any changes yet. And then I went outside to the kitchen, and I heard this huge alarm. What's happening now? I've never heard this before. And it turns out that the computer had frozen up. So inside the roaster was like 235 degrees. It was very close to catching on fire. And it was making this crazy sound. So I just took out the coffee. The whole room was filled with smoke. And my friend came in the door and he was like, it looks like there's a fire from your chimney. And it was just completely dark roasted, and yeah, kind of lucky that it didn't catch fire. But apart from that, mostly good.
What is the most exciting thing about this whole roasting business?
So there's two things when I get a new coffee. Oh yeah, it smells really nice and fresh. Yeah, I have big expectations. And I roast it for the first time and then taste it. So this is a standard cupping protocol. So to make sure we know that what we taste is what we want to taste, we have to have everything exactly the same. So exactly 12 grams of coffee. You can immediately smell this coffee when you grind it. If I say strawberry and you smell this,
Now my brains are thinking about the strawberries and trying to find.
180 milliliters of water and 4 minutes of steeping time. It's always very exciting to see, like, did I do a good job? Like, did I hit? Does it taste the way I want it to and the way I expect it to? So now I'll just wait for the timer. So it will smell a lot more when we do the breaking of the crust. Release a lot of. It's my favorite coffee.
The last one?
The 2 last one. This Ethiopian and this Kenyan coffee. So now I'm just going to clean the coffee. So trying to get everything without stirring up things from the bottom. So now this will just rest or cool down for 8 minutes or so. Everything I do, I log. Here is a temperature probe that's inside the machine that shows me like a number, at least, of temperature. And then I also have a time, so I have a time and temperature graph where I note everything I do. So each time I do a change, if I go from 15 to 20 millibar of gas, then I log it. And then if I taste the coffee, like I do the cupping, I taste it and I think, here is something that I could have done better. Then maybe I have an idea of how to change something. Maybe I need to roast it faster, or maybe I need to use more energy in the start or less in the end. And it's a very enjoyable process. And that's like a thing I do for myself. I do it alone, I taste, and I find out if I'm happy with it. It's always nice when you roast a new profile and you immediately are satisfied with the result. I prefer to do it in the mornings because then I'm sharp and fresh and focused. Because doing this work, if you're tired, it doesn't work. So, beans. So always filter malt on the left side here, and then beans on the right hand side. Drop by here a few times a week to make sure everything's looking as it should and stocking up. If I go out to some of my customers and I say like, hey, I have this new coffee, maybe you want to try it. And if they also like it and they're enthusiastic about it, that's a lot of fun. Coffee is graded on a scale from like, that goes up to 100 points. Of a cup score, and industrial coffee will typically be harvested by machines, and then you will have coffee cherries that are not ripe, and you will have some good cherries, and you will have overripe and rotten. This coffee is usually being handpicked and sorted, so they only pick the ripe cherries that looks good, and they put them through running water and take away the coffee beans that float up like floaters, and takes out almost all the bad quality beans, so that you're left with only the well-tasting coffee beans. The much cleaner taste, sweeter. Most of the coffee I roast is like organic certified coffees, and we have coffee from all around the world.
And what about the roasting difference?
Like historically, it was mostly to cover up like bad tastes, like defects and low quality coffee. You just roast it so dark that you only can taste like the burnt kind of flavors. So I usually roast everything fairly light because we want to bring out the flavors that we like in the coffee.
If you had the possibility to go back to the day the idea first came to you, knowing everything that would happen and the path you would have to take, would you do it all over again from the beginning?
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, there was definitely times, if you had asked me that, there was definitely times where I would say no, I would just be rid of it all. But I couldn't imagine, like, it's given me so much, not just for work, but like all the people I have met and the travels and the learning. So yeah, I would never not do it again.